this field study has been a very inspiring experience for me in the sense that everything I learned in school was just knowledge up until this point, where things I've seen on presentation, things I've researched on Dutch Profile, all came to life when I met all these designers. And one of the things that I personally enjoyed a lot was being able to see the design spectrum work intrinsically within an environment. So by design spectrum, I meant graphic design, industrial design, architecture. And I think the interview that demonstrated this was EDHV, and they are a multidisciplinary design firm that does not specialize in anything. And how they approached this multidisciplinary design was creating an environment where design disciplines can inspire each other, can intrinsically synthesize with each other to create something new altogether. So for example, on that day when we visited their studio, you would see that on one side of their wall, all of their brand development process, logo, sketches, info model would be on one side, while on the other side you would see architectural models or urban space models that loosely resembled almost the same logo on that other side of the wall. So you, walking through this space, you get a strong sense of idea that all these disciplines are enforcing each other, building each other up, influencing the different processes. And I think this was one of their key ingredients or key factor in enabling their projects to be so versatile, at the same time ranging from graphic design, industrial design to architecture. And it inspired me to see interdisciplinary design in a new light, that it is not things or disciplines going into different directions, but rather it's all three disciplines coming together, creating something that is more creative, that is more innovative than just one discipline alone. Two of my favorite interviews took place in Rotterdam. The first one is with Vincent de Rijk. He's the model maker for Rem Koolhaas Office for Metropolitan Architecture. And one line that he said in his interview specifically spoke out to me, because I didn't know how to put words to what I want to do, but the line goes something along the lines of, I enjoy making models for OMA because of the architecture process that I'm involved in. I don't mind not getting recognized for it, as long as I get to be part of this process. And one of my personal goals was to become a communication or information designer or graphic designer within an architectural context. And personally, I didn't know how to put this into words until I've met Vincent de Rijk on that day. And the second interview on that, and the day after, we met with Rainer de Graaf, and he is the director of AMO, which is the research branch of Rem Koolhaas Office for Metropolitan Architecture. And speaking of Rainer was an inspiring experience in the sense that it revealed to me the meticulous and complex nature of the architectural process. And at the same time, it is not necessarily a process that's always producing a result. And in his own words to us, he said that never to submit to the idea that you always have to produce something, but always have the delight of discoveries drive the process. And that revealed to us the architectural reality that often we have to fail as quick as possible to get to an idea that we want to pursue. And this interview with Rainer de Graaf was especially special for me because I had the opportunity to lead the interview and to ask him the question myself personally. And at the end of the interview, his assistant told us that Rainer would usually spend only 30 minutes with students, but it turns out we spent almost 2 hours with him. So we must have done something remarkable and exceptional to get him to speak with us that long. Another thing that I really enjoyed in being away from North America was being able to experience and explore a city myself. And I think that is one of the most beautiful part of this trip, because living in Amsterdam, Rotterdam, I would have few hours each week to explore the streets, explore the alleyways, and being able to see people going through the streets, interacting with each other, and how human interaction gave life to the city itself was something that you don't see every day here. And one of the things that's a common theme with all the designers is that what design meant to them is helping people. And when you're in an environment that you're constantly being immersed in human interaction with each other, it finally made sense to me how design is driven by culture. Design is driven by interaction, human interaction. And that was one of the most beautiful part of the trip. And what I want to do after this field school was perhaps that maybe I'm going to be starting a collective with a couple of teammates in this group. And after seeing EDHV, I really wanted to create a similar environment here in Vancouver. We're starting off in School of Interactive Arts and Technology, where creative knowledge is shared, where people can see our work, people can be inspired from past projects, similar to how EDHV has everything hung on their walls in their studio, and how different disciplines work with each other. Another big theme that I got from field school was, as designers, we need to be passionate about what we love to do. I remember back in the spatial design course in second year, before the Seattle design charrette was due, the night before the project was due in the hotel room, one of our mentors, Ryan Lai, came in and gave us a lecture on being passionate about design, and that moment resonated with me since then. And I want to do the same for others, designers that are coming up, architects that are coming up, because I believe one of the best things about being a designer is to have the opportunity to teach, and the best way to learn is to give and to teach.